The prospect of extraterrestrial life intrigues humans. As such, it's no surprise that there are frequent accounts of terrifying stories recalling encounters with UFOs and alien abductions. This is despite, of course, the vast majority of people believing them to be little more than hoaxes, fabricated to fool the gullible. However, many of these alleged contactees report eerily sobering accounts of alien encounters with such vividness it makes one wonder if they might in fact be authentic. Why would a person invent such horrifying recollections in such detail? Many of the more seemingly genuine reports of these encounters often include descriptions of grotesque creatures capable of striking intense fear into their subjects. I suppose we should expect nothing less from apparent intruders to our planet whose ultimate goal may very well be to claim dominion over us. It seems likely that if this scenario is indeed the case, then they would not simply stop at gathering intel about our planet and way of life, but would seek to study our biology in intricate detail by abducting and experimenting us as a species. Apart from this, there are also many people claiming to in fact be aliens themselves. Could it be that these people are giving us the true picture? However you choose to look at it, these scary stories involving alien encounters are enough to keep even the most fearless of us awake at night. Number 5. Elizabeth Murray. Elizabeth Murray was involved in a traumatic event in 2012. One day she contacted her husband Scott, who hurried home to find her disoriented and in a state of severe shock. She was taken to the hospital by her husband, where doctors were unable to identify any signs of any serious injury. There was no indication Murray had been drugged, raped or assaulted in any way. However, present on one of her shoulders was a large burn. Upon closer inspection of the area around the home, Scott discovered similar burn patterns on and around a tree in their backyard. The ordeal would urge them to seek a hypnotist practicing regression, who assisted Murray to recall her repressed experiences of a terrifying encounter with and abduction by extraterrestrial beings. She remembered being experimented on by them, and the horror of the alleged event was so much that it ultimately led to her taking her own life. Number 4. Amy Rylands. Amy alleged that in 2001 she'd been abducted by aliens while residing at home in Australia. She'd been staying up late watching television while a friend read in the other room, and her husband slept upstairs. A beam of bright light emanated from the window in the room she was in, and moments later she was witnessed by her friend Rylands being pulled towards the source of the beam. Rylands' husband and friend desperately searched the nearby area for any sign of her and phoned the police to report her missing. When the police arrived, they scoured the scene, but there was no sign of Amy except for a torn screen on the open window. Below the window were 2 flowering bushes. One of these bushes had extreme heat exposure. It was during this investigation that a woman rang their house from the town of Mackay in Queensland, nearly 500 miles away. She had seen Amy confused and dehydrated and had taken her to hospital. Amy recalled falling asleep in the living room before waking up on a bench in a strange rectangular room. She called out for help when an unknown male told her to remain calm and that they'd drop her off close to their home. She then awoke in bushland. In hospital, they discovered several strange triangular arrangements on her inner right thigh and each of her heels. They also found distinct hair growth on her legs, suggesting that what seemed likely only a few hours on Earth appeared to be around 7 days for Amy, as she shaved regularly. When researching this case, it reminded me of the Travis Walton abduction. He had claimed to be abducted by aliens while working in the Apache Sitgreaves National Forest near Snowflake in Arizona, and reappeared 5 days later. Number 3. Maryska Kip. Russian citizen Maryska Kip has continued to confound experts. At an incredibly young age, he could read and write, and just a week after his birth, was able to hold his head upright, unassisted. Most impressively of all, however, was his in-depth knowledge of areas of information he had never studied. What is Kiprianovich's explanation for this? According to him, before being born into this life, he was a Martian living on the Red Planet in a post-nuclear apocalyptic society underneath the planet's surface. He alleges that this Martian species, who are said to average 7 feet tall, still inhabit the planet in underground cities. Apparently, their civilization also has a connection with ancient Egypt, with him suggesting that a mysterious key remains hidden in the Great Sphinx behind the ear of the statue. Number 2. Yaphet Kotto. Yaphet Kotto, famous for his role in the film Alien, among others, disclosed during an interview with Vice that he has been involved in numerous alien encounters throughout his life. He explains that his first experience occurred when he was only 9 years of age. He also alleges that alien craft observe him and that have even abducted him. Kotto explains that his aim in speaking about this is to spread awareness about alien encounters and urge people to think about what they may mean for humanity. They aren't going to go away, and honestly believe that these species are going to be making themselves known in the century to this generation. I believe their purpose is to make sure we don't kill ourselves. We're losing our rivers, lakes, mountains, and our caps are melting. We need to take a serious look at what we're doing, and they're going to help us do that. Number 1. John Edmonds. John was desperate to sell his Arizona ranch after surviving years of malicious encounters with aliens. According to Edmonds, after he had moved in with his wife in 1995, they had witnessed portals and alien creatures, and that they would attempt to carry out abductions of his wife. Edmonds claims that his home had been an epicenter for alien activity ever since he first moved in with his wife 20 years ago. What is creepiest of all is that the previous residents were never reported to have moved out. They had just disappeared and all of their stuff was still in the house, Edmonds explained. These extraterrestrials seem to have a fondness for John Edmonds' property. He alleges that he's observed them and listened to them move around his sunroom, and apparently their mere presence has caused parts of the house to become damaged. The speed generated by 3 of them at once made the glass in the double-pane windows actually buzz and misalign in the frames, to the point the windows are now very difficult to close and lock properly without using a screwdriver to realign them in the frame first. I believe the high-frequency buzz is a side effect of their partial in-phase or out-of-phase interdimensional travel. Others have witnessed these ETs as well. During an online interview over Google Hangouts with Kerry Cassidy, host of Project Camelot, a small figure came into view behind Edmonds. After a violent struggle with a few of the creatures, John Edmonds said that there was a considerable amount of tissue and fluid specimens left behind from the greys, which continued to torment him and his wife. Edmonds claims that these samples were collected after he nearly split a grey in 2 parts with an exceptionally well-shaped samurai sword. According to the researchers who analysed the specimens, the sample of fluid appears to be pure hemoglobin, while the skin looks like segmented grass, except it's not grass. Edmonds claims that violent encounters with these alien creatures are common occurrences, and he has the scars to show it. One image shared by Edmonds depicts a particularly brutal mark, which he claims came from battle with malevolent ETs. Both Edmonds and his wife claim to have experienced skin punctures, triangular depressions in the skin, and severe bruising. and skin disfigurement, similar to what one would experience if exposed to radiation, followed by nausea, gastrointestinal distress and chronic fatigue, and muscle weakness. A team of researchers apparently witnessed an alien while investigating the Stardust Ranch property. It came to a sudden halt and then dropped a strange item onto the ground. It was a small rounded stone with a hollowed out interior which seemed to resemble the mysterious portals reported by Edmonds. Arizona's 12 News interviewed a previous occupant of the ranch named Gina Irons. Like Edmonds, she also claims to have experienced bizarre occurrences on the property while living there in the early 1970s. She remembers her family being eager to leave after she and her siblings were distressed by a terrifying encounter with a green creature lurking in one of the hallways at the property.